This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is sponsored by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup at Delco Meets, the number 4 business, and attend one of our incredible networking events. Be sure to register, and we'll see you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Nguyen of WSI and Joey Mazza of the Pennyworth Group. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Rich. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Rich.
We are going to talk about something that seems to be on everybody's conversation list, top of mind. We go out networking, and eventually somebody's going to bring up AI. And I guess in Delco, AI and utilizing that in business is prevalent, but not a lot of people know what to do with it. So this is where we're going to maybe demystify some ideas, come up with ways that we can incorporate AI and help us make us more productive and efficient. And who better to ask these questions to than you, Joey, and you, Trung? So what the heck is AI?
AI in general, artificial intelligence has been around for a very long time, very, very long time. But as of recently, especially with ChatGPT, it's been coming more prevalent, right? I mean, with Siri, everything with voice, that's always been, artificial intelligence. Basically, coding coming in, kind of predicting what the answers are going to be, giving people information, guiding them, giving direction. And so every single year, the technology gets more and more advanced, right? And so now it's at a stage where it's open more to the public, right?
Trung, you used ChatGPT as an example, but to me right now, ChatGPT is synonymous with Kleenex and Xerox and those brands that have become, well, it's not AI, it's ChatGPT, but there are other platforms of AI out there. And for me, I hear like Gronk and all these other systems, Gemini, all these other platforms, one's doing better than the other. How do we choose which one's going to be best to help our business and which is best to really work within our day-to-day life?
Sure. I mean, there are various large language models being built. Every single platform has what they're doing. ChatGPT belongs to OpenAI. Microsoft has Copilot. Google has Gemini, and then there's Grok with X, and then there's also Perplexity and Claude, right? So there's multiple large language models out there, and yes, it can get very overwhelming on which one to use. ChatGPT in general is the most common one, I would say. That's just very broad. Claude is used more for folks who are coders, because that's coding. But I will tell you, Google Gemini has been behind for a period of time, but they are making some great advances right now, especially on the creative side, right? But the good thing about all of these is they all kind of operate the same and they're all free, and you can use the free version just to kind of test them out. But once you find one that suits well for you, I would definitely try to get the paid version, right? Because it's all about privacy and security.
No, I believe 100% you should start training your AI the minute you realize the model that you want. So, I'm an open AI user. I use ChatGPT. I've been doing it for a while. Consultants that I talk to that are AI experts because they work, in the AI space say that none of the versions of AI right now is worth fighting over. So once you find what you're using for, start training it. There's no reason to keep switching and going back and forth. So the minute you get something you're comfortable with, you should start training it. You should pay for it, and you should pretty much max the hell out of it until something else comes out. But I think that's the avenue to go.
Joey, you and I were having conversations about AI well over a couple of years ago and how you adopted it very easily and all the things that you started to integrate in within your business, even within your personal life. But within the business platform, how do both of you help your clients with AI, either become accepting of it and then start to strategize about how it can work within their businesses?
I mean, I think AI is no different than a cell phone. I mean, and at the end of the day, you go back when the smartphone started to come on the scene and people were using the Palm and the BlackBerry. A lot of people, one, couldn't afford that phone to begin with and didn't even know what it did. And they were the early adopters. And then as the prices came down and people realized that they could actually answer an email in transit, then obviously it started catching fire. Like just like now, the business community jumped on this quick, and then now regular people can make a cartoon character and funny videos really fast. So now that it's becoming this widely spread, tool, at the end of the day, it's still a tool. And you have to find out what it could do to help you make your life easier, what you can utilize it for. But at the end of the day, it's a tool, and it's also a tool that needs to be trained. It's not like you can use AI and get generic answers from the internet, or you can train AI to actually be your assistant. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, that there's a whole level of training AI that helps your business and can just make you a lot more productive and help you make decisions in a matter of seconds now, because your assistant is trained for what it's needed for. And I think that's going to be the newest thing, is that people actually realize the amount that they can get out of this. It's going to be, I think that's when you're going to see AI take it up another notch, when everyone realizes the potential. I think too many people now, and rightfully so, are just playing with it.
Yeah, I would agree with Joey on that too. I mean, it is definitely a tool. I mean, I look at it, when I when I first entered, into my career, Microsoft was coming out, you were using Excel, Word, it was transitioning. It was a tool, right? And people are like, what is this Excel data sheet thing? What can you do with it, right? And people were just making simple charts at that time and just putting things in there, just to have something nice to put into a presentation. But it wasn't until you started to play with it and just use it to see what different possibilities, that's when things start shifting. But the possibilities are endless, but until you open it up and use it, you don't know how to start, right? And so it's basically just saying, guys, no one is 100% expert, right? I mean, we're always constantly learning, right? And that's where it makes, especially within WSI, we have cohorts, and we're all using um, ChatGPT, Claude, and we're always comparing notes. And in that way is when you start learning it, then you can start sharing knowledge with each other on how to make AI even better in your business. But, simplistically, when I'm talking to a business owner, it's like, well, at least you know what stops you from doing anything in your business? Is it email? Because you hear it a lot, right? And so that's a very common thing, is how to write emails, right? Or is it even for digital marketing, just content creation? It's like, yeah, you can still use it to do your posts for your social media. And and so I think those are simple things of just quick entry points for people to start using AI in their business.
You talk about content creation. Joey, before the podcast, we spoke about your background and how you worked with AI to create that amazing background. Trung, you're probably using that behind you too, to have the Lincoln Financial Field and Saquon Barkley jumping over people. All these things are something we're able to add to our business, our everyday, day to day. When you start to really synthesize down, you talk about playing with it. You find ways to use this. AI is recording our conversation now. It will synthesize a full background, and it'll take all that we spoke about and spit it out and say, hey, this is what we spoke about today. And we can share that and pull out information and sound bites and things of that nature. But really, where does that line go from, hey, we're just trying this out, to where it really starts to make a big impact day to day for people?
I mean, for me, it's the constant training. So if you understand how AI works, when you use ChatGPT and you ask it a question, it searches itself before it goes out to the internet. So whatever data that you already have in it, your personality, the things that you need it for, it's actually going to go through that quick search cycle before it goes out to the public information that's out there. So the easier you make your life by training it, like all my clients, the different ways I run meetings, the different ways I consult, like all that stuff is like in there. So when I ask it something, it's not like finding some generic version of a meeting template online. It's actually going through the Pennyworth file and pulling out the best piece of data for what I'm asking it for. And then after that, it will look for some other stuff on the internet. And I think people don't realize that, like, if you actually take the time and train that, it actually makes you way more productive in business because it's actually giving the business what it needs. So if the business is dumping the information into this data bank, then it's going to get that back, but at like super sharp speed. So imagine having, like, you interview an attorney and they're sitting behind all these like legal books behind them. They'd have to go into the book and figure out like where it's at and find it. And it could take a few minutes. Now it's like, boom, it's there because it's that data put into something and it's trained to look for certain things based on how you ask it.
And, like you said, at what point it's just like you got to get started, right? You got to get into the pool, right? And once your feet's wet, then the possibilities are just endless, right? As you start. I mean, you start off with your emails, you start off with these conference calls that you're having. When I have conference calls, all my calls are being recorded, also to help me in terms of am I speaking the language that I need to speak to my clients? Because it also helps me develop my communication skills with my client because then I figure out what is their personality, how do they like to be communicated, and I program that also into my chat. And it also helps me when I'm writing emails because some emails are more, focused on the way that my clients like to be communicated to. I have clients who are very direct, quick to the point, and that's all they want, right? And so yeah, I'll type up an email and say, "Hey, can you reformat this for this person's personality?" And it gives me results quick. There are other personalities where people like to be motivated. So then my emails change a little bit, right? So that reminds me of, hey, this is how you should be communicating to that person. But also it helps with, when you're having discovery calls and it 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 outlines, okay, what were the points? What are the things that we need to follow up for our next meeting? So it's also has helped me in my sales process too. So
What do you say to that person that says, I want it to sound like me. It's taking away all the thinking and all of my personality. What do you say to that person that really is starting to say, I don't see this in my business. I don't see utilizing this the way it would work for me.
I mean, Trung said it. You got to play with it. Because if you tell it to be you, it's you. I mean, it's like it'll mirror you. It'll ask you like, how do you want the response? I mean, you can even go into the settings and just before you even get started, create a different type of response on the tone and the personality of it. But then you could train it. So the minute you start playing with it, you can make it you. And I'll be honest with you, they won't know that you're responding with an AI device because you can actually have it where it's a reflection of you to the point where the punctuation is your style. Like when I write, every time there's a pause, there's a comma for the most part. That's just how I was taught to write. So I use it a lot. Not everybody does that all the time. So when you get an email from me, you kind of know it's coming from me because of the style. There's certain words I'll use. And if AI puts in words that's not in my vocabulary, I won't keep them in there. So you're not going to know that it's coming from someone if you work it the right way and train it. If not, if you just say, "Hey, ChatGPT, can you send an email to someone," it's going to be real generic. It's going to sound like ChatGPT. It's going to be very bland. It's going to be what's out on the internet. It's going to take the data and just do what it does. But if you train it, then it is you, and it's not personal because now where it may take you like 5 minutes to come up with a really thoughtful email to something, you literally can be like, I could just be in there like, hey, listen, send Rich Shane an email thanking him for being on the podcast and blah, 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 and it's going to spit it out exactly how I would want it to go. And now it's done in 10 seconds as opposed to me thinking, what should I say? Like and the typing part that I'm not really fast at, AI is just spitting it out and I'm just like putting it in the box and sending it out.
So the main thing that Joey's saying is when you're training it, right, you can feed it the things that you already write or that you've already written, right? And so when you feed that information, it can analyze what your writing style is. Also, what you can also do is have conversations with it to help it figure out what is your voice and language. And so you can start off by writing a prompt is, chat, I want you to speak or write more like me. Ask me one question, one at a time, to figure out what my personality is. And it will ask you these questions and you will answer it, and it will come out with an output. And it will say, okay, this is how you speak, this is who you are. And then you can take that file and then upload it back in, and it will have it as part of the memory of who you are. So that's a simple trick of pretty much customizing your AI to have your voice.
It also becomes your own agent in a way that when you start to make it about your personality, it's not the generic world of chat, the world of AI. You have your own individual agent that really is that, as you touched on, in many ways. It's speaking as you, it's communicating as you, and the idea is that it demystifies these concerns and fears that people have about artificial intelligence and how to use it.
Yeah, it becomes you, meaning too, like people that just use ChatGPT and playing around on it, they're all going to get like these generic answers because that's just what ChatGPT is trained at that moment because there's not really any training in there. Where if somebody was sitting down talking to us and saying, why do we want to hire guys like you? Because I could just ChatGPT it. And I would say, you could ChatGPT all day. You're not ChatGPT in Pennyworth. First of all, my stuff's not available for OpenAI to train off of anyway. It's just not. So if not, I would sue them. So they're not getting my data. That's one. And two, because of all the models and all the clients I've been in there and all the scenarios and all the reworks and remodels that's getting put in there, it's a different database than what's out on the internet. Because some of the stuff that I have, it's not on the internet. So it's, at this point, like we have proprietary information in our AI. So you're not getting that. And if you did the same thing with Trung, I'm sure it's going to be the same thing. He's going to have his own stuff in there. And if if you were messing around with it this much, it'd be the same thing. And the average person's not getting that data. It's just not there. So it is you. It is an agent of you, 100%.
The value of efficiency. As you're talking about that, Joey, I'm thinking, does that make me more efficient where I can work with a client or work with more clients deeper, or go wider with my client base? It's up to you to decide. But because we're taking out some of that structural component, in other words, I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. If you have the Pennyworth proprietary way of doing things, the structure, the way you're going to guide your clients and help them achieve more that they're looking to do, reach those goals, this really helps with that efficiency.
100%. It does it not. In fact, I mean, we got to the point where if I work with the same industry, because each client is different, same questions are still going to yield different answers. It's not going to recommend the same course of action because it's going to know that client, their goals, what their revenue is, staffing capabilities, technology, and it's going to help me advise based on that specific person. Even if I ask somebody, hey, what should we charge for this job? Like the answers will be different.
We are at the frontier. This is the doorstep. This is the beginning of a whole new world with artificial intelligence. Where we are today, you talked about how you can start to integrate it in your business, in your life. But what are some of those aspects of it, either with what you're understanding, learning, and seeing, that will start to come on board that will make this even so more magical, so much more incredible to what we will have in the future?
Well, I guess what makes me excited because everyone's gonna keeps on saying it's gonna replace jobs, right? And yes, it will replace certain tasks within jobs, right? But it will also change jobs or job functions and how people operate and how people work, right? And so for me, it's exciting, and I just take it to the future, very far to the future, right? Is like let's just talk about space travel, right? And so I've always been a sci-fi guy, I've always like, hey, when are we going to be able to travel to another, planet, another universe? But, when we talk about these job creations, you just don't know from an engineering standpoint of what you can come up with using artificial intelligence to create different jobs so that we're doing different things, right? And so, that's the part that's exciting for me, and that's what I try to take the fear away because people are like, yeah, it's going to take away my job. Well, it's going to take away your job in terms of if your job stays exactly the same, right? That's what it's going to take away, right? Is I look at it, even when I started as a mechanical engineer, and CAD came out and design came out, and I was drafting on with paper and pen, right? And doing all these drawings and I was like, oh man, this is great. And you think about all the drafters that they got rid of in the automotive industry, but they just repurposed all of them into engineers. And now instead of, the life cycle of building a car once every 10 years, they were like, okay, now that we have this new technology, we can make cars and design more cars and do things, at a quicker pace, right? And I think I see AI doing the exact same thing for whatever technology comes ahead for us.
For those that want to have a conversation, deeper conversation, learn more and have you help them directly within their business and learn more about AI or take their company and their business to the next level, how do people contact you?
For me, they can either email me or get on my website, wsiworld.com, or again, trung.win at wsiworld.com.
You want to spell that for the listener, Trung, so people know how to get a hold of you?
I guess I should, right? It is TRUNG.NGUYEN at wsiworld.com.
How about for you, Joey?
Pennyworthgroup.com, or you can send me an email at jmazza at pennyworthgroup.com.
Joey, you have been a guest in in a previous episode of the podcast. Trung, this is your first foray onto the What's Happening Delco podcast. If you guys are out and about and you're looking for a cheesesteak, where are you stopping?
I'm gonna go with an oldie. I'm gonna do Leo's in Sharon Hill.
Yes.
You're heading to a client and you have a convenience store need. Where are you stopping? Wawa or Royal Farms?
Oh, come on, man. Definitely
I'm,
Waffle, man.
that's not even a question.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, but I mean, unless you're in a rush, then you can go to Royal Farms. Ain't nobody in there.
No, man. No, no, no. I wouldn't even I don't care. I'm skipping that. I mean, but definitely Wawa. Italian hoagie, that's my go-to, most definitely. Oil. And yeah, that's my go-to. Always an
So
Italian.
you're saying you're a Wawa hoagie guy?
Yeah, I am a Wawa hoagie guy. Yeah.
How do you describe Delco to somebody who's never been here or has not heard of Delco before?
I always say it's the land of a lot of barrows, as you can literally drive for 5 minutes and probably go through 5 or 6 barrows. In most parts of the country, that's not happening.
Yeah, no, it definitely is not. I mean, I've been here for 4 years now, and I mean, I grew up in Central PA in Harrisburg, and I can tell you, I've really enjoyed Delco, right? Like, I don't know why people were just talking bad about Delco. Maybe it was out of jealousy, to be honest with you. It's like, oh yeah, the accent and all that, but I've just found it as a great place for myself and for my family. I've just and great people, right? Just great people. I mean, just a network and just meeting people who are just down to earth and wanting to help each other. That's how I would describe Delco. So.
Yeah, friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them or take them to that Delco experience, where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Where? Oh, is it Linfield around here? Or Linville? Linville.
You talking about Level Orchards?
Yeah, Linville Orchards. Linville. My daughter actually just took me there 2 weekends ago. So I didn't know what this was all about. And I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. So good eats there, good time. I was like, this is like you know, Disney World in Delco or something.
That's
That
unique.
is
No one's ever described Linville Orchards as Disney World, the Disney World of Delco. That's now, maybe that'll stick.
that
I
is
mean, all the food that's around. I mean, I didn't get to the rides or anything like that, but I mean, I was not expecting that walking in there at all. Just the amount of food, and then the beer garden. It has a nice feel for a family environment.
Cool. Trung, where do you get the best tamale in Delco?
Oh, my wife, she makes them.
that's a good answer. That's a really good answer. That was a smart play there.
Gentlemen, is there anything we haven't spoken about on the podcast today? Anything you want listeners to know more about you, your company's AI?
I mean, for me, what I'd like to say is, we do digital marketing, right? And people are always like, hey, Trung, are you cool with people using AI to do their own digital marketing? And I said, yes, of course. I want them to use AI to do their digital marketing because it gives them an understanding of what I do too, right? And it gives them an appreciation for digital marketing. So, I encourage small businesses who are just getting started and are limited in funds in terms of marketing, right? Use AI to do your own marketing to get things started. Why? Because that'll help grow your business. And then when you're ready and you're like, hey, Trung, you know what? I don't have enough time to do digital marketing. Can you come in and do it? So I encourage that.
We really only scratched the surface with this conversation about AI, what it can do, what it's going to be able to do in the future. But I really appreciate the time that we took today to help the listeners understand a little bit more, to find a way where they can adopt it into their business. More importantly, if they have questions and they're really looking to go deeper, understand more about what it is all about, reach out to Joey, reach out to Trung, and really get started on your AI journey because it's here. It's not going away. And the faster you're able to figure out how you can work with it, whether it's your personal life, your business life, your family life, what have you, you're going to see that exponential growth. So thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. And we look forward to seeing you in that AI world, but in person, helping your clients and helping them achieve more.
Thanks a lot, Rich.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.